Hi, I'm Isabel at WNIJ, and today I have a very special guest. If you could please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Calderón, and I'm the director of Ballet Folklórico Aztlan.
Well, thank you for joining us today. For my first question, I was wondering, what is Ballet Folklórico and how did you start this organization?
So, Ballet Folklórico is a fusion of African traditional dances along with Spain's traditional dances, flamenco, and when they came over to Mexico, what is now Mexico, that's kind of like where the traditions and everything started blending together, and now we have traditional Ballet Folklórico. How I started Folklórico, what made me want to start it was when I went to Mexico. I went with my family on a vacation, and I was about 3 years old, and we went to a resort kind of excursion in Escaret, and they had a night show that showed all of the regions and everything. It was a beautiful group, and ever since then, I was so intrigued by what they were doing and everything like that. So when I got home, and a story from my grandma, she would tell my mom, I would wrap a blanket around my waist and I would pretend to be one of the little dancers, and I was about 3 years old. And then going to school in South Chicago, they offered a Ballet Folklórico group at my elementary school.
Yes.
So from that point on, my mom put me in it, and then later on I went to a dance company outside of school, and I've been doing it ever since.
Oh my goodness, that's great. And how did you start the organization at the school, or how did that intrigue you?
So it started up of one night, just me and my friends were just all hanging out, and Folklórico came into conversation, and they asked well, why don't you start one here? If you love it and you miss it so much. I was like, okay. And then my parents were saying that doesn't sound like a bad idea. And from the beginning, starting at NIU, that was something that was kind of in the back of my head, but academics come first. So I didn't really put any effort towards it. It was just kind of I miss Folklórico, but who knows if anybody else wants to do this. So as I started planning everything and working out all the details, more and more people were being interested, and I realized that this was not just a want for NIU, this was actually a need.
Oh, that's a great story. I love that. And my next question, the name Aztlan, where does that come from, or did your group come together with it, or how did that go about?
So this is inspiration. So there is a university in Texas that they have Mariachi Aztlan. And I really, really loved that name. It was so pretty. I love their mariachi. So I decided, I'm okay, let me do some, research. Let me look at all these names. And we're going to be Los Colores de Mexico or Sones de Mexico. We're trying to find any type of anything that clicked for NIU. And nothing was really hitting the spot, and this was just me and my mom just trying to come up with some names, and Aztlan just kept coming into my head. The more I think about this, mariachi, I was I love them, let me do some research. So Aztlan has a few different meanings, going back to the time of the Aztecs. It's kind of a mythical land, kind of what we see as Tenochtitlan, which is now Mexico City, is what is to believe was their home before that. So what they saw was their safe haven for the Aztecs. And Aztlan, it had a sense of home for everyone. So that when it came down to the Chicano movement, back starting at Corley, the 70s and everything, Aztlan was used as a term to kind of show home, we are Aztlan, this is our home, because as we saw and throughout history, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, that got taken away from Mexico. So during the Chicano movement, it was kind of a way to say this is what is ours, what was ours, but we're going to stay united. And they used it as a symbol, as to unite Chicanos together during the movement. So I kind of the more I looked into it, I was let's do Aztlan. Let's let Aztlan be a home away from home for all the dancers on the team, and have it be something represented deep within our hearts. Mexico will always be home, but we're here now. And even though we're here, we're going to college, we're even farther from home. We're farther from our roots the farther we go along in life. So Aztlan will always be our home, just how it was in the Chicano movement and how it was for the Aztecs.
the hardest thing that you found like with this organization?
I think the hardest thing is probably funding. As a first year org, we are very limited to the amount of money we get from the school. So a lot of it comes with fundraising, from whether it's tabling and selling food or doing online fundraisers. So we try to promote as much as possible, because a typical costume or a vestuario ranges between like $300 to $400. And that's just the dress itself or the traje or anything like that. That's not including the rest of the accessories. Shoes alone cost between $70 and $90. There's bloomers. The earrings cost at least $25. Moños for the guys, another $20. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, a lot of our headpieces alone, those take a long time to make, especially for a big team of 28. So there's a lot of things going into it, and we're not just performing one state. There's a few other ones that we're going to keep on the low for right now. So it's, if you want to know what we're performing, you'd have to come to April 20th. But it's, all the costumes have some type of symbolism to them. Whether it's down to the lace or the type of vestuario it is, where it's coming from exactly. Like, there's so much that goes into it, down to like every single detail. And designing it was the best part, because I had to make sure that it hit every spot of what was needed to best represent that state. So, but with that, it's not cheap. And it also coming from Mexico, like there's a lot of
shipping.
Work. Yeah, it was. And that's already extra.
Yes.
So the vestuario alone being at least $300, and then a team of 28, that adds up. But we're a very, very, very hardworking team, and we managed to get that done. So
that's wonderful.
It's been a long journey, but it's so worth it.
Okay. And is there anything else you would like to let us know about the Aztlan Folklórico?
Just to brag about my team. Like, they're absolutely amazing. Like, every single one of, like, each individual on that team, like, they have something amazing to bring to the table. And our executive board, like, they get things done. Like, everyone works so hard to just make this a reality. Like, they've been working, and aside from just practices, what they do outside, like, they always work so hard together to promote our team, that we're always hanging out. Someone's always hanging out with someone. Like, and my first thing from day one was, I want us to be a family, but in order to be a family, we have to be a team first. So nothing was forced. Everything on this team, like, it came naturally. We all got along right off the bat. And the environment is just so fun. You feel like you're around, you feel like you're at home, which is exactly what my goal was. I wanted everyone to feel like they were at home, have a sense of home, and also to learn something new. Because another thing about our team is 90% of the people on the team are all beginners. So what you see at Esencial de Mexico, which is the name of our showcase, it is everyone working from the ground up. So, and Folklórico is not easy. It does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of work, a lot of coordination, and they can all say, like, they have earned every single costume, every single dollar we've gotten. Everything has been earned. So that's like the biggest thing I want to like brag about, is how amazing this team is, because Aztlan wouldn't be Aztlan without them. So,
when do you guys have a show? Where can we find you?
So you can find us all throughout social media. Our very first annual show is April 20th at the Home Student Center at Northern Illinois University. We are ecstatic to put out our first show. We've been working countless hours since day one, and we started putting out practices back in like late August. So as soon as school started, we hit the ground running. So we've been working ever since, and we are a student organization that's year round. So if you can only join in the fall. So we've all been working with each other for months and months and months. And we've been working really hard to get our costumes. All of our costumes are custom made. a majority of them are coming straight from
goodness.
Mexico. They're custom made to all of our measurements and everything. So there's a lot of tradition, there's a lot of symbolism all within our show. So if anyone is interested, we are performing April 20th.